Hey, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Wednesday Wisdom on the Educational ED Podcast. We're going to be right back with this week's Wednesday Wisdom guest, but as always, we're going to give a shout out to our great sponsors. Now, these are all companies that I used as an athletic director. They're all great companies. You should be using them too. So take 3 minutes, listen to our shout outs, then listen to our Wednesday Wisdom guest, and then go and visit these sponsors. I'm telling you, you're going to be glad you did. Here we go. We want to say thanks to Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack. You know, in my school, we use surveys for everything, for student athletes, for coaches, for parents. And the information that would come back, even from parents, was almost always overwhelmingly positive. We still got to hear from those squeaky wheel parents so we could address their concerns, but having all that positive data was incredibly valuable, especially when you're visiting with one of those frustrated parents, or maybe your principal, or even your school board. Go to athleticsurveys.com. They're going to create a custom survey that lets you take the pulse of everybody in your program. That's athleticsurveys.com. We also want to thank our good friends at Snap Mobile, especially Snap Raise. Have you ever spent weeks and weeks with a fundraiser and been disappointed in the results? Well, those days are gone. Go to snapraise.com. We used them at our school with great success, and so will you. You can check out all their other great platforms, but if you're looking for a fundraiser, you just found it, and it's Snap Raise. We also want to say thanks to our good friends at Vital Signs Wall of Fame. If you're looking for a really cool way to display your school record boards for all the teams, for all the different events, or show off your school's Hall of Fame, go to Vital Signs Wall of Fame and check out their interactive touchscreen video consoles. You put one of their units in your gym lobby or your main school hallway, it's going to be a magnet for kids, for coaches, how about parents and sponsors? Go to vitalsignswalloffame.com. You're going to be glad you did. We also want to say thank you to Huddle. As a football coach, I used Huddle for years. As an athletic director, I made sure our school was a Huddle school. And all of our coaches, our student athletes, even our parents love the platform. Join the 8 million users. Find out how to turn your school into a Huddle school. We'd also like to thank Ohio University and their online masters in athletic administration. Thousands of ADs have gotten their masters through the Ohio program, and while they're doing it, they also completed 11 NIAAA leadership training courses at no extra charge. Check out Ohio University and their online masters in athletic administration. We'd like to thank our good friends at Gipper. Go to Gipper.com. Let their team turn you into a social media marketing guru. Whether it's a simple social media post to celebrate a victory or an entire newsletter to showcase all the great things that your department's doing, the team at Gipper will have you up and running in no time. It's professional graphic design made easy. Go to Gipper.com. Don't forget to mention the podcast. We also want to say thanks to Hometown. You know, Hometown's changing the game with their suite of solutions that includes things like, oh, big surprise, digital ticketing. They're still the #1 digital ticketing provider. But how about fee-free fundraising, athletic website construction, and a whole lot more? Go to hometown.com. They're going to help you save time, raise more money, and bring your community together. That's hometown.com. We want to thank our good friends at Sideline Interactive, indoor score tables and video boards. Go to sidelineinteractive.com and you can schedule a live web demo to see their products in action. You've heard me say before, probably one of the best purchases I ever made was our Sideline Interactive indoor score table. Go to their website, schedule that demo today. Don't forget to mention the podcast, and you're just going to be blown away by all the things that their products can do. That's sidelineinteractive.com. We also want to thank our good friends at Home Campus. Home Campus is the official high school sports administration software platform for a number of states and for thousands of ADs. And even if your state has a different platform, you can still be a home campus school. I'm telling you, their athletic eligibility and clearance platform alone is worth checking out. Go to homecampus.com for more information. And as always, don't forget to mention the podcast. Homecampus.com. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Wednesday Wisdom on the Educational AD Podcast. Regular listeners will certainly recognize today's guest, Suzanne Vick. Suzanne is our most prolific Wednesday Wisdom guest, and with good reason. Suzanne's a certified master athletic administrator. She's the director of athletics at Curtis High School up in the great state of Washington. She is tremendously active in the profession. She has traveled the country doing presentations. She's presented at the national conference. Just does a great, great job. And I'm going to let the cat out of the bag. She is completing the QPA for her program. So, Suzanne Vick, always great to see you, but welcome back to Wednesday Wisdom.
Well, thanks a ton. Thanks for having me. What a blessing. Just love seeing your face, love chatting with you, catching up. Retired life doesn't sound terrible. So thanks for throwing that in my face earlier today. But super excited. It's summer for us up here in the Great Northwest. We don't get out of school until a little bit later than everybody else. So we got done with school on the 13th. A lot of schools didn't get out until the 20th or even that next week. So a lot of people are just starting their vacation. So July is about as slow as it gets, and then it ramps up pretty fast.
Wow, that's crazy. I kind of remember that from 100 years ago when I was in high school in the great state of Washington. For our listeners, we're recording this, speaking of holidays, the week of July 4th, so it's going to be very timely when you're listening to it. Suzanne, you and I think we already talked for about 30 minutes before we started recording. And so I know there's a lot of topics you want to cover. So I'm just going to get out of the way and say, what do you want to start with for our listeners on Wednesday Wisdom?
All right. Well, let's start with this. I had just shared with you earlier that if we had been recording this a month ago, my tone might have sounded a little different. Just remember, I'm about 2 weeks into summer. All the kids are gone. Most of the parents have kind of found their way into vacation as well. And so I'm in a little better place than I was maybe a month ago. This school year, it was great and it was tough all at the same time. I'm just finishing my 7th year. So I think 7 means something in a lot of spaces. Like there's a reason at baseball games, they let you stand up and stretch in the 7th inning. The 7-year itch, those kind of things. And so 7, it was really, the word I would use is loud. Like it was loud. If this job was only about coaches and kids, oh my gosh, it would be so great, so easy. But we just had a lot of parent involvement, a lot of parent entitlement, a lot of she said this, he said that, that led to just a lot of conversations. Some of them needed. I don't mind having parent conversations. We're not perfect. We admit that straight out the gate. But it's a lot of, I'm just going to go straight to the top and see where it all lands. And so it made it really, really tough. You know, the parents, I think, number one, like we've got 99.02% of our parents are unbelievable and fantastic. And then there's this 0.08% that are really struggle and really take a lot of energy and a lot of time and demand this space. And that was hard. So the in addition to like, oh, you've got this and they're loud and they're demanding, is like we're still in an officials crisis. Like we had games canceling, games moving, we can't cover. Can you make a double header? And then, you know, what, like we're trying to come up with our own solutions, but what's the global solution and what is it? Where does that land back to? It lands back to coaches and parents acting nice. So now we're back to parents again. Like, oh no, we're just not going to yell at them. They're humans. They're going to make mistakes and we're not going to yell at them. And then the overall volume of work. I think the work's the same as it was my first year. It was probably easier than my first year because I had no idea what I was doing. But the volume increases the more parent meetings you have to have because you still got to do the work. And so those hours that you're taking up having these conversations, that some of them need to be had, but most of them don't. So it was a lot. It was a lot of a year, a lot of conversations with people that, you know, are higher up than I am. And because of this this space that we're in, and my colleagues are dealing with it. We talk about it at league meetings and district meetings and state meetings. I'm sure the same conversations would take place on a national stage. You know, the NCAA is doing their thing, and it's made it's made high school athletics complicated. The transfers, the portal, the NIL, you know, these things, the roster limits, things that are affecting our high school kids, but a lot of parents don't even know that this is even happening. So they're wondering, why isn't my kid getting this, that, or the other? So I have a son who was a grad transfer into a program. He finished 4 years at Seattle Pacific and then moved on to Point Loma as a grad transfer. And I look at him and his career at Point Loma at 23 and 24 years old. Every coach is going to go get a 23 or 24-year-old if they could versus a 17, 18-year-old. It's like a no brainer. So it's just changed the face of high school athletics and preparing our families for that also. So those are kind of the hard for me, but I kind of had a I don't know, slap in the forehead moment this school year. A friend of mine, she has a son who's a runner, and she sent me a text on the day of signing day. So we do two signing days a year. They're big production, and they're just awesome to see these kids, you know, getting to go do what they love at the next level. She sent me a text and she goes, "This must be the greatest day of an athletic director." And to be honest with you, I was pretty pissy at that moment when that text came in. It was rough. I was in a dark place, and I had to really look at that text and realize, why am I letting 0.08% of our population dictate how I was going to be, how I was going to act? So I was slapped back into reality, and I was so excited that I had gotten that text because that reset the narrative for the rest of the year. Even though those parents didn't go away, the conversations didn't go away, we still had officials crisis, we still had issues, the volume of work was still there. I just remembered why I was doing what I was doing, and it made all the difference.
Wow. I appreciate you sharing all of that because I know it's not isolated. I know everybody who's listening, you know, has had moments, you know, a day, a week, maybe a month, you know, like that. And I love your analogy or metaphor. I'm not an English teacher. The slap in the face, slap in the head. I think of that moment from the Cher movie, you know, snap out of it.
Yeah,
Um, let's go and talk a little bit about parents because, first of all, you are right. The vast majority of parents, they get it. They do a great job. Now, you're at a big public school. I spent most of my career at private schools. So, you know, I've had my share of entitled kids and parents. But again, most of our parents got it. But it's that, whether it's 1% or 0.8%, it's such a draining experience. You know, you want to be out with the kids and the coaches and the teams, and oh, geez, I got to do something with these parents. Um, Let me ask you this question because this has been something we've talked about on some recent interviews. Do you, in the vast, you know, in the myriad of topics that parents come up with, you know, obviously playing time, um, do you come across this? Are parents upset with a coach or with you or with the process where they're trying to remove any chance of failure or challenge for their athlete? And we talk about this, not understanding that that's how they get better is through that failure and then the coach lifting them up. Is that something that you encounter when you're talking with parents that they hate to see their child fail?
I don't think parents like their kids to have to do hard things. And I think an exponent got put on it in the pandemic.
Oh yeah.
So it was already there. And then our kids did go through really hard, especially in the state of Washington. We were shut down. We were online school for a year and a half. Like some people were 6 weeks and we're done. I thought we were just going to clean our offices and then go back to school. And it was a year and a half. So it was real different for our kids. And so them getting to do something that was hard meant bad. And then there had to be a response because they didn't want that. I think also, you think about these parents that were trying to navigate COVID, um, just even from a perspective, like my son was home doing ninth grade by himself. And he should, but he didn't know how to navigate this system without turning off his camera and playing video games all day. He didn't have a parent there telling him, oh, you should actually engage in school. I said it before I left and, hey, what'd you learn today? And the answer was nothing. So yeah, I don't think parents want their kids to do hard things and they want them to be really successful. And I don't think that they've gotten hard means we get better. Some have, for sure. But I got an email we had a team at a camp and I got an email at 11:30 at night. Never the best time to get emails because something's going on. And it said, I think you need to go to camp because the coach is being overly critical. And I was like, you should ask your daughter to go talk to her coach.
Yep.
Through the QPA process, I actually created a communication document that I didn't realize I didn't have. I didn't have something really spelled out how communication is supposed to work inside our district regarding athletics. So we'll roll that out even more next year. But that's your first sending an email at 11:30 at night is not the answer from a parent. That we're not going to get a solution that way. But she didn't want her daughter to have to go through hard. And maybe there was something hard, but that's okay. Like hard is the process into greatness. So yeah, that is definitely a thing, for sure.
You mentioned something, and I don't want to just gloss over this. For our listeners, I already mentioned Suzanne's. She puts the master in certified master athletic administrator. You really need to, check out some of her previous Wednesday Wisdom episodes and check out her program at Curtis. But Suzanne, you just shared with me that you have completed, I guess it's not official yet, your QPA. That is a Herculean task. I know because I didn't finish it. I was doing it at our school in Florida, and then COVID hit, and I got distracted, and then I retired. So those are my excuses. But I know what you have gone through to do that. Can you share with our listeners just a little bit about that process? Because while it is Herculean, it is extremely worthwhile, and we encourage ADs to do that. So maybe share a little bit about your experience.
So it is a massive lift. Russ Waterman, good friend of mine at Eastmont, he's the one that encouraged me to do it. He had just completed it. So I jumped in on the first available cohort. There is a cost associated to it. It's not obnoxious, but there is a cost associated, and you have to apply and you have to have steps in a row. I did my national board teacher certification. It reminds me of that. So it has it's very laid out. It's not easy to do, but it is easy to follow. So step one, there's 10 different categories. You do have to take a NIAAA course before you can even apply to go into to do your QPA. And anyway, so it's broken down. There's a section on finance, there's a section on safety, there's a section on game management, there's a section on other, like the last category is other. What are the other great things that you're doing? And it's really just documenting what you're doing. But what it also does is it shows your blind spots. So the NIAAA has said this is what every AD should be doing or have. And so when you get to a spot, you're like, oh, shoot. Like I said, this communication document, there's a whole chapter on communication. And I did not have something explicit that I would share with families and students related to communication. So now here's the document. It's a 2-pager. It's super simple to follow. Put that inside final forms for registration for people to sign. So I created quite a few documents inside the process. You don't know what you don't know. And the job is so massive, right? You're just surviving. You get to the end of the day and you're like, ah, shoot, I got to go to soccer. Or, oh, shoot, I got to get ready for the football game tonight. Versus if I did these things in place, maybe some of this other stuff would be way easier because systems in place make a big difference. So it was good, but it was a huge lift. You did one component a month, and then we had a Zoom meeting once a month to kind of go over it, and then it gets scored, kind of blind scored by 2 different people. And then you got to get 80% on each of the components. And once you're done with all 10 at 80%, then you're done. So I think from oh my gosh, I can't do it. I think you just keep doing it until you do it. It's when you like, oh shoot, COVID happened and I got distracted. If you get distracted, you're probably not going to finish it. But it was good to have the meetings. It was good to have, once a month accountability. And it was really, really good for my business. That might have had some reason why I was a little bit tired at the end of the year. Because it was a lift. It was something else that I was doing. I'm super glad I did it, and I'm super glad I'm done. And I can figure out, where to go from here and just get a little bit better each day.
Again, congratulations for that, for doing it, and I'm sure you did a great job. I'm excited to be able to give you a congratulatory hug at Tampa when they celebrate all the QPAs this year at the national conference. I'm going to put you on the spot. You've done a number of these Wednesday Wisdoms. Again, your full interview still gets downloads. People still reach out to you by listening to that interview. Share with our listeners. We'll call this a toolbox special. Beyond the QPA, beyond communicating with parents, even though they are that less than 1%. What's a tool that you would suggest that every athletic director, whether they're a new AD or a veteran AD, have in their toolbox that might not always get the bright lights and the promotion? What's a special tool that's in Suzanne Vick's toolbox?
That's a great question. I'm going to answer it, and then I'm going to talk about some solutions to all this hard stuff. So I think the tool is be present. One of the things I hear a lot is, oh my gosh, you're everywhere. Wow, you're everywhere. And it's the appearance of everywhere because you can't be everywhere. So we might have a volleyball game, a soccer game, and a water polo game going on at the same time. I'm going to be seen inside that space because then they actually do think I'm everywhere.
Yep.
Being present, because when I can't believe, I'm like, actually, I was there. I didn't see that. What was that again? Have you talked to your child? You should get together with the coach and the child to figure out what took place there because I didn't see that. The other tool, and I've started using this after I let people talk, because our district's very much like we're going to listen to parents. We're not going to necessarily always agree, or we're not necessarily going to change things, but we're going to listen. If people want to talk, we're going to listen. Once I've listened, I am always now saying, so tell me how this conversation went with the coach. And then they're dead silent because they didn't talk to the coach. They didn't go do what they were supposed to do. And then they're like, I'm like, well, by coming here, I'm just going to go talk to the coach. Like, I'm going to have to do that. So you could have just gone to the coach. You should, they're all scared they're going to get retaliated against. I'm like, I'm still going to go to the coach. Like, we're still going to go have the conversation. So we should just do this the right way. And then if there's still problems, then get me involved. Um, the other, and we're changing this, I do a parent meeting every season. We are changing it to a parent player meeting and it counting as a, like, this is going to be a practice. Like you're expecting your kids to go, which means they're going to bring a guardian or parent with them to get more attendance. We're not going to get everybody, but the right people are not in the room when I'm talking about all this stuff. The ones, the 99.92% are there. The other people aren't, I need these other people in the room. So that's one thing we're going to change for next year. I would, if you don't do a parent player meeting, I would definitely encourage that. But as far as the, like I said, I don't know, a month ago, this might've sounded a little bit different, is like, how do you either recharge or don't get to that space? Number one is like, I'm reading the Mel Robbins book called Let Them. It's fantastic, but like, I can't control these people that don't like me. So why am I spending so much time and energy on them? So let them do you. I'm going to do me. We're going to be fine. Great book if you haven't read it. Being aware of your time. I get over time. My boss will let me flex my schedule. I just don't. So I need to get better at that. I need to get better at, I don't need to put like string 16-hour days together. I don't need to be everywhere at all times. Maybe it's important this evening, but I need to flex some schedule. Good systems in place is really important. I think the QPA has really helped me with that, having good systems in place. Reaching out to friends. This is a pretty isolating job because, like, if you were friends with your coaches, you're not now because you're in charge of them. You're an administrator, so you're not really friends with the teachers. So where are your friends, and making sure that you have those in your scheduling time. I'm pretty good about this. When I am away, I'm away. Sometimes it still stresses me inside, but turning off your notifications, don't checking your email. If you want to really get away, then you have to turn that stuff off. Learning to grow, like the QPA was a grow. I'm not doing that to level of involvement of growing, but I think everybody should be growing all the time, every year. And then I think finding inspiration. We do, and this is a blast from the past because you're the one that inspired me to do my CMAA, and I did it on the curriculum that was titled, I think it was Bigger Than Sports Vikes was the title of that curriculum, and it was a once a week rolled out to my coaches. Here's the word we're focused on. Here's some things. Here's some action steps. Okay, go. Well, I've continued that over this. I think this is year 5.
Yeah.
And this year's theme is gratitude and grit. So I've been working on that, and that's inspiring to me. It's inspiring to know that I can inspire our leaders, which are our coaches, and then inspiring our young leaders of our athletes to go learn what gratitude means. So there's going to be 6 different words related to gratitude, 6 different words related to grit that they're going to get to work on. My coaches that do it religiously find massive benefits. I have some coaches that still are like, well, yeah, we talk about stuff. That's fine. I'm not, let them do you. But it always comes back in their evaluation when somebody's like, God, I just can't get these kids to. I'm like, well, tell me how you did that on that particular week. Tell me about your week on perseverance, or, finishing strong, or, turning the page. So anyway, so I would be also happy to share that with anybody. I've got 5 years of these just curriculum words. Some of them are repeat words. And I just, most of our seasons are 12 weeks. So I send an email every Monday and it has the slide for the week. And then week 2, week 3, all the way. And then we repeat. So if, everybody, if they're 3 sport athlete, they're going to get gratitude 3 times. That's great. I have no problem with that. So I think those are just kind of some of my solutions, and definitely get away from the job so you can come back inspired to do it again. Because my elevator speech is I get to empower people to live inside their passion. Sometimes this parent voice doing this, no, this is still my passion. I get to empower people to live inside their passion.
Oh, no, that's great. And thanks for reminding me. Again, for listeners, Suzanne and I connected. I'd kind of forgotten because it seems like we've been
Yeah.
friends for a long time. We connected back during COVID, and you're absolutely right. I remember those conversations that you were,
Virtual happy hour. Yes, it
yeah,
was.
that you were doing. Well, I've talked about all the great things and all the great, professional development things that you have available for your coaches and for our listeners. If somebody wants to find out more, how do they get in touch? How do they connect and add Suzanne Vick to their network?
Probably easiest way is through email. So my email address is svik@upsd83.org. So it's S V as in Victor, ICK at UPSD stands for University Place School District 83.org.
Okay. And you can find Suzanne on LinkedIn. She does a great job promoting her school, Curtis High School, on Twitter. She's also in the NIAAA membership portal.
Yeah,
Suzanne, always a treat to spend time with you. Now I'm really looking forward to seeing you in person down in Tampa. Hopefully, I may see you again in the spring, coming to
would
your
love
state
that.
conference. So hopefully that'll all fall together.
Yeah.
Thanks as always for sharing, and all the best for a relaxing and restful summer.
Awesome. Have a great day, Jake.
For our listeners, we hope you have a great day, and we want to say thanks for tuning in and just remind you that we upload the Zoom recordings of all of our interviews to the Educational AD Podcast YouTube channel. We appreciate you checking out Wednesday Wisdom, and just a reminder, just about every day, we try to share stories from the world of athletics along with some best practices. So come back and join us again on the next episode of the Educational AD Podcast. Boy, the great Suzanne Vick. Again, if you haven't listened to her previous Wednesday Wisdoms or her interview, go back and check it out. Just some great stuff. Um, Speaking of great stuff, our sponsors. Remember, these are all companies that I used as an AD. Yeah, they're sponsors, but they're sponsors because I used them. I trust them, and you should too. Check out Hometown, whether it's ticketing, fundraising, website construction, hometown.com. Ohio University's online masters in athletic administration. Check out Ohio University. Home Campus is a platform you're going to use every single day. Go to homecampus.com for more information. Sideline Interactive, indoor score tables and video boards. Go to sidelineinteractive.com. Gipper, go to gipper.com. Start creating world-class marketing content for your school's social media channel. It's gipper.com. Vital Signs Wall of Fame, go to vitalsignswalloffame.com. Snap Raise, whether it's fundraising or just about everything that an AD would do, go to snapraise.com. Huddle, you'll find them at huddle.com, and then Athletic Surveys, athleticsurveys.com. Thanks again for listening. We'll see you next time on the Educational AD Podcast.